Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. Today is the last, what I consider regular or normal class of the semester. Because next week, I may have mentioned, I do want to take the time to go through what I call a practice final exam, so that you can get some practice with the exact kind of tasks. Even though that's what we've been working on all unit, but you'll get some practice pretending like it's the real final exam with similar problems to the final exam, similar length, similar difficulty, all that kind of thing. So that's what I plan to do next week as opposed to the usual thing that I do. The first thing I'd like to do is just take a moment to return your graded quizzes from last class. And yeah, let me do that first. Identifying intervals by ear, if that turns out to be one of the most difficult things for you that will be on the final exam, which I would understand if it is, I would really encourage you to either work with me or work with Micah or work with another student in class, sitting at the piano, playing intervals, listening to these intervals, and just taking maybe even a half an hour to just really focus on the various types of intervals. If you want to take more than doing that, that's fine too. But I think for some things it's just going to take a lot of, just have to go in there and work at it, give it your best, and just spend the time and the effort practicing and listening. Sometimes that's the only thing that works with certain things in music, I should say. I don't know what you found in your experience, but that's what I found in my experience for some things. Okay, so the next thing I'd like to do is I would like to collect page 59 out of your ear training book. Page 59 had rhythm dictations on it, and I believe I assigned numbers 1 through 3 on that page. So if you'll make sure your name is on that one and pick it out of your book, I will come pick that one up.
You said 59, correct?
Yes, 59. Before I come pick it up, let's see, page 60 is on the flip side, correct? Can I show you the answers to the two that you had on page 60? And then I'll come around and collect at this grade page 59. So let me do that before I take your sheets away from you. On page 60, you had numbers 3 and 4. These were a little bit lengthy. So hopefully you can see. Hopefully you can see what you should need to have written for numbers 3 and 4 on page 60. Number 3, as you can see, is in cut time, or 2-2, which means the divisions of the beat are quarters and the beat is the half. But on the contrary, in number 4, the meter signature is 4/8, so the 8th notes are the beat and the 16th notes are the division. And by the way, you do not have to have your beaming to look just like the author's beaming in for number 4 on page 60. In fact, it would probably be clear if the author did not beam the 8th notes together, but separately flagged all the 8th notes for the individual beats. And then groups 2 16th notes at a time instead of sometimes 4 16th notes. If the author beamed it that way, that would be clear to me according to the time signature. Okay. But you probably want to just take a moment to check your answers on that. Make sure you did okay. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns about any of these. And then in a moment, I'll just come around and collect your page 59, which is on the flip side. Are you ready to do it? No, good. The next thing I'd like to do is just I get to give you one last reminder. For those that have not sent me your rhythm quiz videos, they're due by midnight tonight. They're due by midnight tonight. I believe today is the 12th. So, I know I've got at least one or two from this class. I saw that on Canvas, so some of you are good. But if you haven't yet, please do that hopefully before you go to sleep tonight. Okay, so the next thing I'd like to do is do some sightseeing as we usually do in class, and then I've got two tasks that I'd like to get through, if we could, in ear training today, one of which is something brand new, just because I want to see how you do at it, but we'll get to that in a minute. So in your sightseeing books, would you please open to page 34, page 34. And because we don't have anyone here that needs to sing for their melodic quiz grade, I thought that we would just sing several of these melodies on page 34 together. As you know from the assignment sheet, this is the last batch of melodies that I'm holding you responsible for this semester. So there will be no new melodies after this. And no more melodies that I would certainly test you on. I would only test you on the melodies that we have done this past unit for the final exam. By the way, in this, well, I guess in both this class and in theory, the final exam is not comprehensive. It's not cumulative in the sense that I'm only going to be testing you on the stuff we have done this third and last unit for those courses. Now, of course, in theory, you still have to know things like your key signatures and how to spell chords and things like that. That doesn't go away, but that's not what I'll be focusing on per se on the tests. Yes?
Do you know what time the final is for both music theory and oral?
I can tell you what time it is for this class. I don't have my theory one with me. I can tell you for this class, it's supposed to be Wednesday the 25th at 8 in the morning. So 8 to 10 in the morning. And what I'm thinking about doing, this is what I usually try to do with final exams. I don't know if I've explained this to you before, but generally what I like to do is I like to give you the ear training portion of the final exam for this class, the first hour of the final exam block of time that we have. So in other words, 8 to 9. It wouldn't take any longer than that. It might not even take a full hour. We would do the ear training portion of the final exam here in class. And then the last hour from 9 to 10, probably a few minutes before 9, we'd be able to get started. I could schedule any of you for 10-minute blocks of time that you just have to come during that 10-minute block of time between 9 and 10 in the morning and just sing your sightseeing portion of the final exam. And then, because there's so few of us in here, I think I can fit you all in. And that way everything could be done right then and there. You wouldn't have to do anything on a separate day or worry about it another time or anything like that. So that's what I try to do. So I'm going to, I'll get you that information next week. But that's what I'll be planning on doing. Maybe the ear training portion of the exam right at the beginning, right at 8 o'clock. And then when we're done with that, we can break into 10-minute blocks of time where you just have to be here during your 10-minute block of time to do your sightseeing test. And hopefully everything can be done before or by 10 a.m. that Wednesday morning. Okay? Please do not leave campus before Wednesday for Thanksgiving. Especially if you have, well, you have a final in the morning. I don't know when your theory final is just yet. It might be on Tuesday. It might be on Tuesday. I'll have to double check that. Okay, so where was I? Page 34. Let's take a look at melody 328 at the top. And we'll practice singing that together. This one, as you can see, is in the key of D major. Number 328 starts on Sol. I'm sure you can all identify that very well. And this is going to be a hand signing example since it's even number. Okay, can you think of Sol? If this is Do, yeah, if you want to think of any Sol, really. Sol, Sol. Which are good. Okay, here we go. I'll give you a measure of tempo. How about a speed of 1, 2. Sol, 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 la, ti, do. Sol, sol, fa, mi, do. Sol, sol, fa, mi, do, do. Sol, 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 la, ti. Exactly which 6 melodies I'm going to pull from this unit to put on the final exam. This could be one of them. I'm just not sure yet. But I will get that information, as I said to you, next week. So next week on Tuesday, you'll be able to know what the prepared melodies and the rhythms are going to be for the sightseeing on Wednesday. I don't want to give them to you at this point because I think it's just a smidge early. You know, if I give out information to some students, if I give out information more than a week in advance, sometimes students will either forget about it or not think it's that important or that urgent or something like that. So you'll have at least a week still to work with the sightseeing prepared melodies and rhythms once I give them to you next Tuesday. All right, let's go next to 329. This one I don't think we have sung together yet. This is in A major, as you can see. And it's going to be a conducting example. Let's get A major. I think A is going to be where Sol was in the previous key. Another scale and arpeggio, please. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, mi, sol, mi, do. And we start on a nice low, deep Sol. It looks like that's the lowest note of the whole melody. So I think I'm going to try to belt that one out, just that low one, and sing it in that particular range. So ladies, if you want to try to start here, Sol, or if you want to try Sol, you're welcome to do that range as well. Let's do it this way. Can you ignore the first repeat in the middle line? Just sing right through that one. But then let's observe the two endings. Let's do that. That way we'll end on a nice solid do. So if this is do, do, find your soul, soul. Let's start on beat 3, please. Here we go. I'll give you 2 beats. 1, 2. Sol, do, ti, do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do, re, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi. Keep going. Sol, sol, fa, 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 mi, sol, mi, re, re, mi, sol, 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 fa, 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 mi, sol, mi, re, do. Good job. And I feel we only have one last melody to sing together because we worked on 331 last class. I believe we did. So 330 is the last one to do, and that's maybe appropriately or not, it's a melody by Handel. Turns out to be, as you can see, in the key of E flat major. So that's the last key we'll get oriented into. That's just a little too low for me to go down the pit, so I'm going to sing a higher scale. Okay, one more time. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, mi, sol, do, sol, mi, do. It's like we start on sol on this one too. Boy, look at that. All three, 328, 29, and 30, all begin on sol. Hand signs. Okay, so ladies, you might want to do. I can't sing that. All right, last one. As written, starts on beat 1. Let's go with this tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sol, mi, fa, sol, do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, sol, do, sol, fa, mi, re, do, There you go. Do let me know, though, if you have trouble with any of these melodies. Especially, let me know on Tuesday, after I'll give you the ones, the 6 that I'd like you to hear for the final exam. Okay. I'm going to switch gears now. You will not need your ear training book today because the 2 ear training things I'd like to do just involve, well, one involves a piece of scratch paper, which you could probably take out right now. And the other one thing that I'm going to do later on, I'll give you a handout for that. So, on a piece of scratch paper, this is not to hand in. It has been some time. It has been a while since we have done note recognition. So I'd like to go through 5 exercises of note recognition here and see how you're doing with that. And so what I've done, I've I'm going to ask you to identify one scale degree after the scale I play for number 1, 2 scale degrees for number 2, 3 for 3, 4 for 4, and 5 for 5. So we're just going to get one more scale degree each time. So we'll max out at 5 scale degrees. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. Speaking of degrees, talking about scale degrees, that reminds me, I don't know if you've seen there's many jokes that go across Facebook over the days, but I saw one where an individual was at a job interview, and the boss or the interviewer asked the interviewee, he said, tell me about your degrees. What types of degrees do you have? And she said, well, I'm from Canada, so Celsius. All right, with that, let's go on to another thing. As you know, I play these twice. I'll play each of these 5 in a different key. So the first key is going to be this key right here. And there's 1 scale degree to identify. So here's the ascending scale. And pitch. One more time. Number 2 is in a different key. Two notes to identify after this scale. One more time for number 2. Number 3, different key. Here are the 3 notes. Once again. again, number 4. Finally, number 5. There are 5 notes to ID after this scale. Here we are. Once more. Here are the 5 notes. On the ear training final exam, you can count on melodic dictation, rhythmic dictation, note recognition, and what am I missing? Oh, intervals, of course. Intervals. Who wants to share what they got for number 1? Anybody? Soul, that's right. And I can play any of these again, if you like. Number 2, anyone want to share what they have for that one?
La, do.
That's right, la and do. Very good. Number 3, the notes were stepwise. Who wants to share that one? Good. Mi, fa, sol. Sounds like something Jar Jar Binks might say.
Question.
Yes.
If like on the test, if I put re, mi, fa, would I still get 2 points for that? Because I'm still doing it stepwise, or?
No. If you had re, mi, fa, all 3 of those blanks would be a step off.
Okay.
Yeah. So, no, I couldn't give you partial credit for that.
You know we're still doing stepwise?
Yeah, because you've got to check. What I want you to be doing is I want you to be checking some of these notes, if not all of them, but maybe the first or the last one, checking them against do or sol. Okay? And so something, if you got re, mi, fa, something tells me something went awry there. You either lost do or you were calculating wrong. So, yeah. Okay, number 4. Anybody want to share what they have for that one? What do you have?
I have la, so, la, do.
Ooh, you're close. You're close. The last one is right, and you got the right contour. What do you have, Becca? That's right. It's sol, mi, sol, do. Let me play these again. I was hoping you would hear the tonic triad of that key being outlined, since it's just do, mi, sol, but just in different arrangement. So here's your do for number 4, and I was hoping you'd hear, which is all.
Yeah.
Mi, sol, do. All right, go ahead.
Do, do, re, ti, do.
Yes,
There you go.
you got it. Isn't that interesting how, I don't know if it's because it was easier or not, but you got the one with the most notes to identify. And some of these ones with less notes to identify might be harder to hear. I find that interesting always. So do, do, re, ti, do. So I did an octave leap here, then I went up a little step from the high do, then back underneath, and then back to do. Yeah, let me play, I'm going to play number 3 quickly again. Number 3 was in D flat major. And this being do, here was number 3. See, can you hear the last one? So, which is do. And if you can hear the first one, mi, re, do. Check it against, I always try to check it against the closest do. All right, and by the way, any of these things, Micah or myself would be happy to work with you on if you want to schedule a little time to meet with us between now and the final exam. Just let us know. The last thing I'd like to do today is, I'd like to try something we haven't done, and this will not be on the final exam, but I just want to see how you do with it, because this little task does occur in many Aural skills programs across the country. And that task is, where did I put it? Here we go. Error detection. Error detection. I guess after we're done here, I can ask you what you think of this. If you like more, I can get you more next semester. If you don't, then that's fine too. But take a look at this sheet right here. See how good and keen your ears are. What I've done is I've selected 2 what I consider somewhat familiar melodies. You can see them listed there on the handout, numbers 1 and 2. And it says in the instructions, these melodies contain several errors in pitch only. So the rhythm is correct. There are some errors in pitch, however. Using your mind's ear, that's an Aural skills term, by the way, compare the incorrect notation to what you hear. In other words, I'm going to play the melody, but I'm going to play it correctly at the piano. And I want you to see if you can identify the pitch errors in each example. And you can identify the errors in the following manner. Number 1, first of all, circle the wrong note you hear right there in the music, in the staff. And then next to the wrong note, if you could write the solfege syllable of the correct pitch that I played. Okay? Now, when you get, maybe some of you can do this already, but when you get a lot of experience listening to intervals and scale degrees and things like that, you don't even necessarily need to hear these melodies played correctly, especially if you know the melody, because it's already in your head. You can look at the music here and you can see where something is off. In fact, some of you may be able to do that already. But I'm going to go ahead to the piano and I'm going to play the melody correctly anyways. And after, I don't know if it's 2 hearings, 3 hearings, or whatever you need, we'll see what kind of errors you came up with in we'll start with number 1. You guys know the tune Clementine? Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling, Clementine?
I'll recognize when you start playing it.
Okay. I don't even want to tell you how many pitch errors there are yet. I want to see if you can stop. Okay, so Clementine is going to be in the key of F. Okay, I'm going to play the correct version, and you have an incorrect version. Yours has some pitch errors in it. How about a tempo of 1, 2. Yes.
Are there more than 2 errors?
Yes.
Oh.
Back there are twice, exactly twice as many pitch errors as 2 in number 1. Let me play the correct version again. Keep it reading like that. So there's your go. And here we go again. 1, 2. Coming up with any pitch errors? You got 3?
Yeah.
Okay, good, good. And one of them is, no, I shouldn't say that. There's supposed to be, there are 4. Shall I play it one more time?
Yes.
Okay, let me do it one more time and then let's go over the answers for this one. First, I gotta make sure I got my correct version and my incorrect version separated. Okay, last hearing of the correct version. 1, 2.
Can you play the last 2 measures once?
Okay. Last 2 measures are you want the first 2 again? Okay. I'll include the pickup as well.
I think I got it all.
I think you got it all. Should we talk about these verbally, or do you want me to show them up on the TV? Verbally, okay. All right, who can tell me where's one pitch error that you found? Give me the measure number.
Second measure, or the first measure without the pickup.
Okay, first full measure.
Yep, it's on the second note. It should be sol.
That's right. You have law written there, right?
Yeah.
And that I played sol. I played C, middle C, rather than that D. Good. Good, good. How about another pitch error in this melody? Okay, second to last measure. Say about that again. Second note, yeah. You have fa written there, but it should be what? Sol. That's right. So do you see in the second to last bar, do you see the low B flat? In fact, the lowest note in the melody? That's not what I played. I actually played middle C again. I played sol, a step higher than that. Yeah, so I played re, sol, ti, re, do. I didn't go re, fa. Okay, another one. All right, what do you got?
Second measure, last note, and it should be me.
That's right. The last 16th note in the second full measure should not be B flat, it should be A or mi. So I didn't go mi, do, sol. I didn't do that. It's supposed to be do, mi, sol. You see what I'm saying, where that 16th note is? Not fa there, it should be mi instead. And then there was one more. Okay, go ahead.
Fifth measure, last note should be re instead of no.
That's right. The last 16th note in the fifth full measure, instead of do, what you have written there, I played re. Fa, fa, mi, re, mi, do. That's how it goes. Not fa, fa, mi, do, mi, do. You all see where I'm showing it? So those were the 4 pitch errors. How did you do?
I messed up one.
You missed one? Well, did you at least locate them all? Even if you couldn't tell exactly what I played?
On the second measure, or the last measure, I tried to correct the T to law instead because I thought that was so not followable. I just missed my note.
Okay. Are we having fun yet? You like this sort of thing?
I'm enjoying it.
Oh, good. Good. I kind of enjoy this too in a way. We've got a few more minutes. Can I play the next one? Angels We Have Heard on High. I'll skip the repeats. I'll just play it through. But I'll play the correct version. You have an incorrect version, as you can see there. This is in the key of G major. So here's your key. And here's do. Notice the melody. Let's see, where's my correct version? Here it is. Notice the melody starts on me. Okay, I wish we had a little more time. Anyways, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Going on. Okay, let's hear it again. Or do you want to know how many years? There's a fair amount. I have 6.
Okay, so more than 2. Got it.
You got 6 already? Wow, that's excellent. Let's hear it again since we have a little time yet. 1, 2, 3, 4. I really wish I had more of these. I think that something like this is so practical for a musician, especially an educator, because if you're going to be a conductor, whether choir or band, and you have the correct version notated there and you hear something played wrong, you're going to be able to catch it. And this is kind of doing the reverse. You've got something notated wrong, you're hearing it correctly. Where's the discrepancy? Where's the discrepancy? Okay, just for the sake of time, I wish I had a few more minutes. I would play it once more. I certainly would. But just for the sake of time, this on the very bottom there, you can see I've circled the pitch errors, and I've written there what they should be as well. So you can see in measure 3, second beat, you have do, but it's not. I played re. The same measure, 4th beat, I played sol. You have fa. After the first repeat sign, that first half note there should be sol or D. You have it a step too low. You have C or fa in the key. Down in the second measure, or second line, second measure, you have notated a D or sol, and that's too high. I just played a fa. I played a C on that first beat note there. Then in the next measure, you have la written, but I went down lower. I went down to sol. And then the very second to last note, penultimate note, you have T when I played re. So it goes mi, re, do, and you have notated mi, ti, do. You have that notated instead. Okay, how did you do? I know I didn't give you quite enough time on this one because we ran out. You pretty good?
I missed 2 of them, but I got the other 4 right. It's just not.
Yeah, I think with another hearing you probably could. All right, I wish I had lots and lots of these. I don't. This is one of the few examples I have of error detection. But anyways, this is not going to be on the test because we haven't been focusing on it, but I just thought we'd try it since it's one of our last days here together at a regular class. So that's all. You still have, I don't think you have a new sight singing, any new melodies to learn, but you do have a ear training assignment for Tuesday still. And don't forget about your rhythmic quizzes that are due before midnight if you haven't sent me those already. Otherwise, I will see you Tuesday for the practice exam. Yay. Yay.